audience to give context?
Yeah, what ended up happening with us was we classic entrepreneurs, we were a wee bit ADD, and so just something flashy and shiny went in front of us, we would look at it but it all came through the funnel of or the filter of, does this serve our mission? And our mission is just to help people with common sense education and empowerment in some area in their life. It started in the money piece. And so when I first started, I was doing I was working for free at a talk radio station, doing a little talk radio show on the local station. And I printed a little book, started selling it out of the trunk of my car. So publishing was born, right? Then we did an event at the local Ramada Inn. So live events were born. And so each of these, in those days, everything was analog. Of course, the internet comes along, and one of these kids working for me comes in and goes, "Hey, we need a website." And I'm like, "What's that?" And so we built a website on one of those tiny little antique, you ought to look them up, they're cool, those first little Apple computers, they look like a little shoebox. And he built us a site on there with Cold Fusion, and it was pitiful, but it was still cutting edge. It was a big time deal in those days because nobody had a website. We had one of the first people who had a web store to sell stuff because it was a platform. Again, platform. So we're platform agnostic, and anytime we see a new or emerging platform, analog or digital, we're going to put our toe in the water and keep doing the ones we're already doing. We're not going to abandon them. If they die on their own, fine. If something runs its course, we're done with it. We just go on and do the next thing. And a guy walks in my office in the early 2000s and says, "We need a podcast." I'm, "What's a podcast? I don't even know what this is." And we were one of the first, certainly one of the first in talk radio to put a podcast out because the talk radio people resisted it. They were afraid it was competition. So on and on and on and on it goes. And now we end up today, we've got about 14 profit centers here inside the organization today. There's about 1,100 of us, a 650,000 square foot campus that we're, that you've been here and hung out with us at our home. And so we've got the EntreLeadership brand where we're teaching leadership and coaching small businesses. And we've got events around that, books around that. The book we're talking about today is from that idea. And we've got a huge coaching business in that area, coaching small businesses, 200 and fewer team members. And we're not real good with the large corporate goobers. We don't help them much. So, and then we've got the, obviously we've got all the stuff in the money space. Financial Peace University is now digital. It's no longer a VHS or a DVD or even an MP3. It's a digital format. We're rolling that up into slowly. We're in beta to slowly start to move pieces of that into the EveryDollar app. Which is one of the largest budgeting apps on the planet right now. We've had 50 million downloads with that. That app is huge. It's exploding, and it's it's very robust. Our tech team has done an incredible job. So that's the digital, very scalable thing, on one end of the barbell. And then we've still got coaches over on the other end, and we still do small, high-end, ultra VIP platinum events where 25 people go to my event barn at my farm and hang out with me for a weekend. So we go all the way. We stretch the spectrum from the high margin, high touch, expensive thing all the way over to free on the EveryDollar app or free on the podcast consumption or the YouTube consumption. Probably more of an answer than you wanted, but that we're all over the place. And all of these things, though, have to do with just, is there another way to preach this message? Is there another platform? So we're platform agnostic. Someone said, you're a best-selling author. No, that author is one of the things we do. You're a talk radio guy. No, but talking on the microphone is just one of the things we do. We're not married to any of them. I got one wife, and that's plenty.